I need British lefties to know about this tweet because clearly not enough of you do. And that's okay, because not all of you would have been politically engaged during the 2016 to 2019 period. But I need you to know about this tweet so that you can understand why there is zero forgiveness in my heart for the people who were Labour politicians during that period. Because the tweet is by an MP called Barry Gardiner. And what was Barry Gardiner's role during the 2016 to 2019 period? Well, he was the Shadow Secretary of State for International Trade under Jeremy Corbyn. So in terms of Labour's Brexit policy during that period, he is high up there. And remember, this tweet went out from the Shadow Secretary of State for International Trade under Jeremy Corbyn in September 2018. And it said, "Never interrupt your enemy when they are making a mistake." He was quote tweeting somebody who was pointing out that with Brexit in utter chaos and destined to hurt millions of people, the opposition, Labour under Jeremy Corbyn, was doing nothing to actually counter it. And the response from the Shadow Secretary of State for International Trade under Jeremy Corbyn during this chaos was, "Never interrupt your enemy when they are making a mistake." Basically saying, we need to allow the Tories to completely ruin the country with Brexit, and then Labour will look better by comparison, and we can take advantage of that politically. And let's not pretend that he didn't know what the cost of letting the Tories make that mistake would be for the British people. Because leaked government documents show that allowing Brexit to happen would definitely make people poor. The British Medical Association was warning that Brexit would make it harder for us to retain NHS staff that came from the EU. And we can already see what the cost of that has been. And at the time, almost 80% of Labour members wanted a second referendum, with the vast majority wanting us to stay in the EU single market. But Jeremy Corbyn was saying that we had to leave the EU single market, and when a senior Labour MP suggested letting people vote on the Brexit deal, Jeremy Corbyn fired him. Which, by the way, I find to be fucking insane, because in the 2019 election, it was official Labour policy to have a second referendum, yet just a year before, he fired a Labour MP for even suggesting that. Which brings me back to this tweet, because it says the quiet part out loud in an insane way, because it explains how, after campaigning for Remain during the referendum, from 2016 July onwards until about mid-2019, Labour Party did not challenge the Tories on the need to have a second referendum, the need to stay in the EU single market, because they knew the damage that allowing the Tories to get on with Brexit would actually do to people, and they knew that that would make them look good by comparison. And that's why I can never forgive these people, no matter what they do, because even if they said let's rejoin the EU right now, it would still be a completion of this very plan. It means they'd have allowed the far right to get on with Brexit, ruining the lives of millions of people, and then they can come in as the heroes. So am I saying all this to get you to vote against Corbyn's new party? No, I'm saying this so that you vote rationally, in the knowledge that there are now two parties on the left that are giving an alternative to Starmer's Labour. And so you shouldn't simply blindly vote for Corbyn's party because he's the only one who has your back, especially when he has proven that he won't always. Because despite my history with Jeremy Corbyn, if he commits to campaigning for a fair voting system and to doing a deal with the Greens in the next election, then if Corbyn's party is the tactical choice in my constituency, I will vote for him. Because unlike some people, I care more about what's good for the country than simply getting one over on my enemies.